Well, good afternoon everybody and welcome back to our channel. Welcome to the bird room for a start, and I'm Shane from Direct Bird Products. Today, as the season's progressing and the birds are basically at the rear end of the molt now, I'm thinking about show season. First show is only in October, and then obviously they roll out from there. So as I'm show training my birds, what I've started to do with some of them, not them all, not the canaries, but especially the greenfinches, the current year birds only. I'll explain on more why shortly. In behind me, whilst we were cleaning out the other day, I caught 10 young birds up. Makes no difference if it cocks or hens, I just caught them up out of respective flights. Just take a quick look at them, and 8 out of the 10 I've already picked that I'm quite happy with. And these are the ones that's behind me in these cages here. The reason I've done that, so I can actually keep a closer eye on them and monitor the progress of them over the next few weeks, at least into mid-September anyway, and put a bit of weight on them to try and get the type that we're looking for, especially with greenfinches, and also it steadies them down when I'm in and out of the cages feeding them. Now, I haven't done this with adult birds. I don't do it with adult birds because I've obviously done it the previous year, as in, you know, like last year we didn't, obviously with COVID, but the years before I've done the same procedure. And they should be used to it by now, and I know what they're going to turn out like because I've looked at them. Obviously if I've kept them, they must be decent birds, what I looked at before. So as I'm looking through them, I can actually see one or two looking, well actually, I tell a lie, 8 of them are looking as I would like them to look, ready for showing. Although they've got a lot more molting to do, they are in the process of coming through the molt nicely. I will show you a couple of birds. I did put these on the Facebook group that I'm involved with, and that is the Irish native finches. I had some really good response from everyone on there saying how nice they were, and they are. Not just that, there's a couple of birds on the video on there that were bred by me. Some are bred by Mark, obviously, when we were partners, and obviously I have to give him the credit that is due for the birds, because believe me, there's 2 or 3 in here that Mark did breed from our line that are exceptional birds in my opinion, and they will be seen on the show bench this year. But to recap, basically I'm putting them in cages like this just to keep the eye on them, monitor them, because if I feel that they're not going to make a cut, or if there's one in the flight that I think is going to progress better for the show bench, then I will obviously swap that and obviously keep my eye on the ones I want to keep. But it doesn't always work that way. A couple of years ago I went down to Mark's, picked some show birds, or some birds for our show team, because Mark wasn't showing at this point and it was me doing the shows on both our behalf. So I went down there, picked 2 or 3 birds, and there was one in particular that both me and Mark will remember this, and did come back, and it's shocked how much it turned out. So basically picked 2 cocks, 2 hens maybe, I can't remember exactly what it was, and there was one hen in particular that didn't catch my eye whatsoever. And I just said, no, leave it there, you know, I'm going to take these are what we want for the show team. He totally agreed. 6 months later, this bird turned out exceptional, better than any that I took to the shows. In fact, one of the birds that I'd picked that day actually went on to win the South Coast Open, that's in Avent. It were a cock bird, it took Best British there. But regardless of that, the hen bird that I left behind was actually better in the end. So obviously I'm not quick to sort the birds out 100% before. I know people have been asking me have I got this and have I got that, but sometimes it's better to wait and see how the birds progress for yourself before trying to sell them on, or if you've promised someone some birds. Take your time and look through them after the molt, because all young birds still develop even after they finish molting. I've seen greenfinches come on even through December, so don't be too hasty to get rid of them just because they don't look the part at that point then. And like I said, there's two birds in here. I will show you a close-up one. Actually, they're at the side of each other. This cock bird here and this hen bird here. Regular viewers of ours will know I did pick these out early on in the year and said that I think they would do well as it comes towards the show time. And checking the progression on them through putting them on my show stand there and running through the cocks with the cocks and the hens with the hens, these two stand out really well compared to the others. So I'll take a short video of them if I could get them up and let you have a look at them. And we'll just come back to what we're going to carry on with on for Friday's episode. This is the hen bird I was talking about. I picked it up early on in the season when she was still really quite young. Doesn't really do her any justice, this, but she'll turn out to be a lovely hen bird once she's finished. Now this is the cock bird, if you'll only get up on the perch for a minute. And he's turning out a fabulous cock bird. He actually performs better in the show cage than he does in this cage here. He's been in a flight with 4 or 5 different cock birds, all current year bred breeds, showing real potential. In no time he'll become used to being in a cage rather than a flight, and it'll steady him up perfectly for what I need him for when I do show him. So for now, as I said, they're in the single breeding cages. They're not small cages. They are the ones that with the cage fronts we sell. They're the 50cm cage fronts. They won't stay in there. What my plan is just to monitor them, like I said, 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe a week or 2 after they finish the molt, and what I will do is put them back in a flight. In a flight I won't overcrowd them if they are the ones I'm going to be showing anyway. Probably maybe 2-3 birds in there. I don't overcrowd them, I don't want them fighting and pulling feathers out of each other. So the point is, if I was to leave them in the cages in this size, they would quickly become overweight, and that's not what I want when I'm showing the birds. So the idea would be put them back in the flights, and then 2-3 weeks before a show, or even a week before the show, depending on the bird. Every bird's individual and they will come on faster than others. So ideally 2 or 3 weeks before the show I'll bring them back in, steady them up and put a bit of meat back on them, get the type back that I'm looking for. Rather than being a long bird, I want them short and cobby, and with a bit of weight on them that does cobby them out rather than having them looking too long, and it steadies them up again. And with that routine they get used to it, and it does them a world of good. They get used to being around people rather than just being in a flight without being disturbed. But yeah, that's basically it. That's the stage we're at with the Greenfinches. Like I said earlier, not so far as the Fifes or the Norwich yet. They're still in flight cages and flights. They're not as hard to steady up or to train up, so realistically we don't really need to think about it. But so far as separating the Fifes off that caught my eye, I will be doing shortly. I have 1 or 2 that I think are coming on really well. And same thing again, last thing I want is for the birds with pulling feathers out of each other and crapping themselves up or anything. We don't want to jeopardise a show season by maybe loss of a flight feather or tail feather, because it all does add up when it comes to the showing of birds. I hope this has helped you out, and if you don't have any questions on exhibiting birds, should I say, and just send me a message. We have spoken to a couple of people who's got some show cages coming for us, so they will shortly be available. Not just British show cages, we will have Gloucesters, Norwich, new colour show cages also. Number 2s and 3s in the British section. There is also softbill show cages, but I don't think there's really that many people that do exhibit softbills or even breed softbills, which is quite a shame. But we will have other show cages available. over the next coming weeks, so keep an eye on the website and I will keep you posted throughout. So Friday's episode is just like I said, an update in the bird room. Have a look at some of the young birds as they're developing. Obviously this is 2021 breeding season now, so the plan would be to pick the shorebirds out and what we're going to be keeping, or if it was me I'd keep more, put it that way, but what is catching my eye ready for show season, or if it's not a show type, is it going to be in my breeding stud for next year, because just because it's not a show type doesn't mean say it's not a breeding type. They're all blood related, so just because it doesn't show the potential for the show bench doesn't mean say that it's not going to throw good chicks off in the future coming years, or part of the plan for the coming years of our breeding. And I'll elaborate more on that on Friday, and the reason I'll just give you a quick spoiler on why. These two greenfinches that I've shown you earlier are both nestmates. There is also obviously the other nestmates that's not really caught my eye as yet, but there's still time for them to develop. But as it is now, they're in a different cage or they're in a different flight because they're not showing the potential for show purposes. One might say it's no good, but I know deep down that would probably throw, and it has been true in the past with different breeders, that the mongrel of the nest, if you like, would throw better birds than what these show. So I'll elaborate more on that on Friday. So anyway, thanks for watching. Enjoy your evening, enjoy the lovely weather over the next couple of days, and I will see you on Friday. So yes, take care and I will see you then.